Hi all. I have a decent game for you today. Um, Frontier Justice 2.0. It was recommended to me by Rhinoceros in the thread, personalized game analysis thread. And um, so yeah, let's just get started. So here we are, and let's see. Well, I assume these guys know what they're doing. There's not too much planning going on, just this. So let's see how it plays out. Looks like everything's standard here, and it's not going to be anything crazy the first day, unless Mafia decide to muck it up. So, cop gets innocent on the dead. The dead is jammed, and a dead NO. So here it appears as though Panhero is it looked like he's claiming cop here, maybe. But he isn't. He's clearly using this as a tactic. Right there. And he's NO'd Panhero. But that's okay, because John Reed is actually a sheriff. So this is probably just a tactic of some kind. We'll see what transpires. So, Mighty Andros has an on the dead. And I think John Reed is actually what's the word? His shot was too fast, like he should have taken longer. Can't think of the word. His shot was premature. It was premature. He should have waited longer, looked for more material and information before making a shot. Because there was a lot going on, and Mighty Andros hasn't done much. So unless he was absolutely sure, which he shouldn't have been, then the shot is premature. So look at that. Like, you should have waited a while. Maybe you would have changed your mind if you'd seen this line and just waited a little more. So it's always good to wait unless you have confirmed Mafia, in my opinion. Then you should shoot the confirmed Mafia, but there wasn't any here. So John Reed just simply shot too fast, in my opinion. So let's see what happens. There's no reaction at all from John Reed, and Panhera's confirmed Mafia at this point anyway. So it's a wasted day, in my opinion, because it's just an auto lynch on the janitor. There's no time left to get reads. There's nothing to get reads from. It was just poorly played by John Reed, in my opinion. So now, janitor is lynched. I don't believe he outed what was jammed. He gave a journalist read, and I mean, it's doubtful Ninja Panda 358 will be Pantera's partner, but it's always possible. I don't like that wine from though, because he always does it, and usually he's wrong. He's never, from my experience with Pantera, he's usually incorrect with these kinds of reads, especially as Mafia. So because of that, I think he just cripples himself with it, and he's better off actually playing a YFOM, saying one of his partners is a journalist or something, or just saying nothing at all. He's done his job. He doesn't have to shoot himself in the foot like this. It's better if he switches it up once in a while. And if he's viewing this video, then just don't do it to me. Okay. Night 2. Okay. So this is actually a strategy from Pantero on day 1. So he was Y-foaming. So I take that back. He was attempting as a Y-foam, not an actual read. So, but that doesn't really matter. Because what does the town view it as? They view it as, we'll see what they view it as actually. It really depends on what the town views it as and what Pantera will think the town views it as. So, it appears as though we're going to have a standard 5-way Lila and a fast journalist claim. And remember, there are no active living reports. And the Mafia, well, inherited his wife on AESOP. So there's really nothing in regards to the reports here at all. So it's a standard scum hunt from this point on in the game. So let's analyze this. Okay. Ninja Panda is definitely town telling. Just because they're not waiting to give information. It appears as though they really, everything they're saying is genuine. The train of thought and line of logic isn't taking very much time to be thrown out into the game. But of course, it's always much more difficult, or rather, it's easier to see when I have all the roles right here on the side. So I'm going to try and see if there's anything that might deter that read at all. Oh, fairly even statistics over a soft amount of competitive setups, mainly fancy pants, guns and hookers, and cocos. So, no, none of this really, it's just, again, it's small things. But if they're playing competitive setups and their stats are skewed, then you likely know it's more legitimate than if they play a setup in which a lot of it is luck, such as fancy pants. So Ninja Panda, and it's a fairly long day, so it's a good thing the clears are using their time. Okay, this is interesting. So there's a kick here, and they are crossing. Celine votes correctly. Oh no. Both of them kick. So then these three are left to duke it out. And the really strange thing here is that since the Mafia kicked on each other, which is a very awful thing to do in almost every situation, even though one town voted wrong on Lilo, which is usually all Mafia need to win the game, the clear voted wrong and Mafia was still lynched. That's astonishing. So Mafia still died even though the clear voted wrong. That's why you should always wait until the second kick. Or maybe one Mafia, even in this situation, could force an L if they waited long enough, no lynch, and win the game just by killing simply Knight 3. Now, from what I see here, we have a lot of pretty decent players, which makes for very hard reading. Day 1 might be more indicative of alignment. If we just check the openings really quickly, the openings usually give away a lot in regards to alignment. A lot of people scum read people who start with quotes. I think it's null. I don't really think that it's a good reason for FOS. I think it's quite frankly BS, and I don't think that it can be generalized that quickly. I don't think anything can be generalized like that in the game of Mafia. So he did claim actually faster than I thought he did. I missed that. Not great lines from the mighty Andrus, in fairness to John Reed, but I still think John should have waited. What else do I have to read here? Celine, Ninja Panda, and Ninja Panda had an okay start, and he folded up wonderfully on the second day. But then again, this shot throws the game off because you don't get the normal opening in the game. It skews everything, and you don't get very much info, if any, from this at all, generally. Especially in the setup, from my experience with it. And I believe, over 100, 150 plays on it. If you include my deleted alternate accounts, it probably goes up somewhere to like 220, 225, 200 or to 225. Uh, Actually, maybe that's a bit much, but definitely over 100 games, 150 games for sure. And I'm looking for this person to start. Um, Basic observation. A very strange follow-up. Seems simple, but actually it's not the best way to follow up. LOL. Use this filler mainly in order to try and make it look like you're not just throwing out random horse crap with one or two lines. Uh, so generally standard things here. There's still not too much given away. So I guess I'll read this game through the eyes of whoever led this, because AESOP didn't lead on this. In fact, he was the only town to vote incorrectly. Actually, you know what? He didn't even vote incorrectly. He just didn't really. He didn't. He didn't vote with the train here. So it was a cross. So if Ninja Panda 358 was Mafia, he could have forced no lynch and won. Now keep in mind, a lot of players rarely ever see this situation. So it's incredibly likely that there's a definite possibility, rather, that Ninja Panda 538 as Mafia would have hammered anyway, instead of forcing the NL and collecting auto win, just because I'm not realizing it. So I don't know. I mean, it looks like everyone's really fuzzing the Mafia here. I mean, I don't think. So maybe something's wrong with the Mafia scum player. The town are just great. I think Ninja Panda has established himself as town in the situation. Therefore, it's 2 or 3 in Celine, Sinadio, and Papuito. We got in those 3. You can even narrow it down further by. I think it's pretty clear that Sinadio's scum play isn't that great. Um, Not that line. That line's all right, but just lurking for a long time and just giving their 2 cents, just chipping in, just giving those little shots in whenever they can. Not really, nothing good here. Like, way too late to start participating. Uh, Generally, only participating when people are starting to talk about them. And I'm sorry I'm taking a long time with this. The graveyard's making it a little bit hard to read. Uh, Interacting with the town, so makes Ninja even more townier. If you ask me, I don't think Sinadio is going to interact with his partners too much. He's interacting with Celine as well. Hasn't talked to Papuito yet. Um, it's just all interactions with Celine and Ninja Panda 538, leaving Papuito out to hang, or hanging Papuito out to dry. Uh, I think we got. No, not even. That's Celine too. Do we have anything? Does he talk to his partner at all? Yeah, and then he just randomly throws this out here. It seems very misplaced and desperation move at the last second in order to try and gain some town credit for his partner or himself. It's a Mafia versus Mafia cross, so although the town don't know it at that point, luckily the only people not voting are town, so no lynch will not be forced. At this point in the game, after one kick, a Mafia is going to be lynched on this day for sure. So these reactions after kicks are also very good. Usually, newer players are almost always genuine. If there's a more experienced player, don't take anything you see for granted from here unless you've barely seen it from them before. More experienced players know how to look like town after kicks, And newer players generally will be honest because they don't know if the game is over or not, and therefore they believe they have nothing left to hide. So let's go to day 3 now. So journalist is dying, no big surprise. Guido ends up pulling it out, and reading their day 2 play, it wasn't too bad. Like stuff like this, throwing a readout. I don't really see reasoning for the read, so they did deflect by asking questions and interacting with other players such as Ninja Panda 538 and Celine. Not too much with Sanadio right now, but Papuito eventually goes to it. As we see down here, timestamp 14:18. So about 5 minutes into the day, 4 minutes into the day. This. So, although they didn't give reasons for their flaws right away, if they're asked, I'm sure Papuito is experienced enough to be able to make something up. So perhaps it's better they weren't asked, but it's also null. It's not really scummy. It's no leaning scum because it is deflecting right here. This is deflection, a comment scum tactic rather than elaborate on the reads. No one has engaged Papuito, and that's an important part of what I'm saying. If no one engages the person and then they just go to something else right away, then it's not as genuine as if they stick with what they have or what they're talking about. If they continue to elaborate on their line of logic, then then it seems more genuine, honestly. And if let's pretend Celine addresses Papuito here about whatever Papuito's talking about, then it would look legit. It would look more legit. It would look towny in the response because it's a good quick response to a question. There is no question though, so it comes from out of nowhere. It's a clear deflection. So the difference between deflecting and not deflecting in the spot is that no one prompted Papuito for this. So if someone prompted Papuito, it would be more towny because it would not be deflecting. And that's what you need to look for if you're Mafia. You throw something out here. If someone prompts you about something else, jump all over it. It's better if they prompt you about this. If no one asks you about this, then you can use it. You can say, hey, I had this read long ago on day 3, like later in the game. He can say, I had these reads and I was participating on day 2. No one bothered to question him about these reads then, so it's unlikely they'd question about them in day 3, and by then he has ample time to use more material from day 2 to figure out how to defend his actions and his reads that he's produced here in the 3-way. So it's pretty good scum play from Papuito for the most part, except I don't know if I would deflect like that right away without being prompted. I'd try and elaborate on what I've given first and just go from there. However, he did bust, and he did bust successfully, and because of that, I think he's gained some town credit in the final day. It doesn't appear that Mafia would kick on each other, and for that reason, I'm pretty sure that's why the town considered Papuito town, regardless of Ninja Panda 358 town telling and Celine's left hanging. She's just left hanging out to dry. Ninja Panda's just a townier player, and Papuito appears to be towny from the Mafia versus Mafia cross and the kicks at the end of day 2. So not much thinking is really required here. If you're Ninja Panda 538, it's just an unfortunate set of circumstances, but it's just destined to fail unless Ninja Panda 538 pulls out a miracle. I'm skimming here. I'm just basically looking about everything in the game. They're just reviewing everything that's happened in the game. Celine says here, there's some things I don't like about your play. Celine, at this point, probably thinks Ninja Panda 358 is Mafia because, again, Papuito has established himself as the towniest player alive, more or less. And it's hopeless at this point for the town after this happens, unless it's a reaction test, which clearly isn't. And sometimes reaction testing with reads on day 3 is all right, but be careful what you do with. Some players won't buy it. I don't know if Ninja Panda 538 would have bought it if Celine at the end says it's a reaction test. Ninja Panda may think that it's Celine backing out of giving chase to a Foz on Ninja Panda 538. So basically, what I'm saying is, if Celine was reaction testing with this line here and backs out of it later, I think there's a big potential for Ninja Panda 538 to believe that Celine is just simply, for lack of a better term, pussying out of providing Foz on Ninja Panda. So Pupuito's established his vote early in the day with his towniness, and Ninja Panda 538 just trying to get his logic set in stone here, just asking questions, trying to confirm his point of view. I don't blame him for trying to look too many other directions, although you should. But you know what? Given this possibility, I can't say I would have hammered Papuito either. I probably would have ended up hammering Celine here as well. It's a very unfortunate set of circumstances for the town, and it was wonderfully played by Mafia, namely Papuito, using his partner's lack of good Mafia play to his advantage. But the one good thing that Sinadio did in this game was he did bust at the end, and whether it was intentional for this purpose or not is unknown. He doesn't say it unless I haven't read the graveyard. Maybe he hasn't read. Maybe he said it in the graveyard, but if he didn't, then it's just perhaps an accidental, really nice play from Sinadio, and just the end of day two directly led to the Mafia win. Ninja Panda 538 isn't really gonna vote Papuito here, especially when Celine's being the one questioning him. And although both of these guys are being pretty towny, maybe Celine has a slight edge in towniness. Papuito doesn't have to do that much and can play the aggressive card, especially because of what's happened on day two, and they can use that to make themselves look much townier than Celine or Ninja Panda 358 for that matter. And it's just a clean, well, not too clean, but it's a pretty good Mafia win. Okay, comments and questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.